Alright. So most of you guys been trying to debunk my claims of my opinion, which is all fine and good and dandy. So there are several common arguments that are being made that are trying to prove me false. One is, of course, the most obvious. It's a game. Well, let's go look at this supposed game, as you call it. Now, so the game, it was designed, well, as they put it, is supposed to be separated from the group of pew shooters, as I put them, which aren't bad. I don't believe that I like realistic shit. I don't care. It's the fact that, which I'm gonna get to, is the fact that they are talking about, seeing like people shot that help you, people turn you in. It's supposed to be experiencing what it's like to live in a conquered state. Now, my question is to you, which I'll answer because I'm a nice guy, is how can you believe that concept if the enemy's not believable? Now, when the enemy's not believable, then that concept goes away. And what does that make it? You leave all that, then puts it on top, the whole story arc. That story arc's bullshit. So you see, then what is it? A pew shooter. So and thus causes this to be another COD game. Now, let's see here. Some friends of mine have made some good points. Why does that have to be in America? Well, of course, it's a price selling. You price point. A lot of people are gonna buy this game in America. They want to play it in America, obviously. Why does it have to be South Korea? Well, at least even stated they could not use China because they're not scary enough because of the interdependence of our economies and the fact that we don't want to hurt relations to hurt our economy and such. Now, why did they have to choose South Korea? Well, North Korea, sorry. Well, it's unclear, but they chose. I guess apparently somebody said there's a novel based about this, which I'll read eventually and do my compare and contrast, I guess, to how loosely this fits it. Now I'll go back to it. So in Japan, it said they're going to release it because of the controversy because Japan censors things for just libel reasoning. So they basically wrote a certain country to the north and a northern leader. I mean, if they just did that or something like that, I mean, okay, I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with the Japanese version because it gives you a sense of wonder and mystification, and there's no basis of reality into that phrase at all. That's like Kirby Epic Yarn. I mean, there's no basis of anything. It's just fantasy, pure fantasy. Just like COD is pure bullshit, pew. But I mean, I can understand the story arc a little bit, get into it a bit because, well, I know it's a game. I know it's complete bullshit because they're not trying to make what we call a statement. They're just trying to entertain you. Now, when you get into the point where you're trying to make a statement, then it's no longer entertainment. Right, it's because once it separates that gap, and what is it then really? It's just hyped up shit. Because when your message bullshit, and it just falls back on the predefined shooter sense, then it's just overhyped shooter. Then it's just a fucking COD game or Modern Warfare or whatever you call it, which means very little to nothing. Okay, I think I've gone over that enough. The next other argument is Germany going through the same thing in pre-World War II. Well, unlike Germany, North Korea has no significant industry. Actually, I'll fill you into history. Back in World War I, France was in fact attacked by Germany. Almost entirely the war was fought on French soil or soil outside of Germany. Germany's industry was not impacted at all by this war. If anything, they actually stole industrial structure from France when they retreated, and they actually increased their size after the war. Now, people can say the reparations were harsh, yeah, and people can say they diminished their army size by 100,000, which was by what's it? Treaty of Versailles, not Versailles. Treaty of Paris, was it? I forget. I'm a little tired. Done this at 12:56 a.m. But you know, you get to the point. You know, seeing the Treaty of Versailles, whatever. Anyways, you get to the point when you say to yourself, well, how is this similar to North Korea at all? Well, North Korea has no industry to speak of. They are not independent, and their country is isolated themselves, so there is no real market value of anything, and there's no actual economy going on other than shit that's being funded from them. I mean, some of the greatest investors are China and South Korea itself. I mean, that's pretty sad when you have neighbors investing in your country to get you people from starving. People say, well, no one underestimated Germany would do that. Well, yeah, the French did. That's where they built the Maginot Line. And yes, Churchill did. He was talking about it for years. I mean, we didn't actually just kill or destroy Germany in World War One, so they still had the capacity to do it again. And that was the biggest mistake we made. We didn't go at harm. I mean, they didn't learn their lesson, so they still had the same mentality. And that's where you get the whole, oh, we didn't lose, we got stabbed in the back. I mean, that's where it comes from. So we're going to go off that. I mean, just like North Korea did lose. They didn't get stabbed in the back. They lose outright. And we threw them all the way up to the border of China, and China was like, no, we can't have that, and blah, blah, blah. So this is a completely different situation entirely because, one, North Korea doesn't have industry. Two, North Korea doesn't have a real education system. Three, they have no real economy. They have nothing. And, again, North Korea was never a was never a superpower at the time, a regional power. Germany was, and still was at the time too, and they're still a force to be reckoned with, regardless of how much balls they get chopped off. They still have a large population and a massive industry, one of the largest in the world. I think it's second only to the United States at the time, and eventually Russia went over and blah blah blah. Alright, so we got that out of the way about the U.S. Now, somebody started comparing military, South Korea and North Korea. So, first of all, I'm going to state this pretty clear up in front. Quantity doesn't mean jack shit anymore. In World War II, quantity had a quality feel, but now, with so many technological advances, it means nothing but body bags. Meaning, if you want quantity, well, you better buy a large quantity of body bags, and then you just put to your death. Somebody also brought up that there are 6 to 9 nukes as possible, which is all speculation, and which either could mean 6 to 9 or 0 to 0, or 69 nukes that they're going to blow up when they launch and kill a bunch of North Koreans. And also, in addition, I do not doubt the United States have in place countermeasures since the past few years in Japan and South Korea to counter anything. And just also nice addition, nukes don't win unification wars, because he said that you have the war peacefully, especially if China would get fallout. And right, so why would North Korea want to nuke South Korea? Look at why would China want to get fallout? And shit like that. Just like no matter what they do, they can get fallout into their area. And it's not smart. It's just tactically stupid. Now, somebody also brought up the large numbers of main battle tanks. I think it was around, I don't know, about 2,000 to 3,000, something ridiculously small for any nation. But somebody thought that was a lot for a apparent reason. I don't know why I'm being all disgruntled about that. I'm just tired. But yeah, so yeah, over 50% of North Korea's main battle tanks are from 1945. They're basically T-54s. Okay, yeah, they're shit. Their anti-personnel carriers, over 50%, were made in the 50s. I don't remember what they're called, but over 50% are from the 50s. You can look it up on Wikipedia because I know all you kids like that stuff. And now someone else brought up their massive artillery, like 10,000. But remember, when you count artillery, you count mortars. Well, at least the North Koreans do. And which are obviously more cheap or plentiful, and it also makes up about 50% again. They actually have the statistics on Wikipedia, which are you can get linked back to actual sources, but I know your kids like the Wikipedia. Now, somebody also wrote the Air Force has a large stockpile of. Well, somebody else said they had a large Air Force, which they do, but it's a large stock of MiG-19 variants, which were made in the 60s and have SUs from the 70s. So yeah, it's nothing really impressive, and since they're pretty much handicapped by the fact that they're probably not in working condition, we're not going to even go there, but you know what I mean. And yes, their Navy's a decent size, but as we've seen, they're obviously going to be massively out-teched, massively under-equipped for anything but routine patrol, and some submarines 100% diesel and 100% old Soviet variants designed from the 50s. Ballistic missiles, well, I couldn't find anything about those, but most likely they're outdated pieces of shit, and the U.S. anti-ballistic installments would have a nice field day with all the small amounts of missiles, because 800 is not a lot of missiles. Also, to add something to add, and I just lost it. You know, just right in your head and loses it, but we'll move on. But let's compare South Koreans' army. They have about, oh yes, I'm sorry, I found it. Yeah, so they stated that they have about 7 million active servicemen, which is a shit ton, really. Plus reserves, which is a lot, really. But you gotta think of all this equipment they have. They barely have enough equipment for them. It seems like they don't have not much tanks. I mean, with a large army, you would think they have a large everything overall. Like, you know, China has a lot of tanks, Russia has a lot of tanks, you know, America has a lot of tanks. But they don't know shit. It's just a really large conscript army, which basically means human waves. Or just armies in the sense of numbers and not on paper. Now let's go on to South Korea. Yeah. The South Korean army consists of 520,000 troops, 2,300 tanks, 2,500 armored vehicles, 5,200 armored pieces and MRLs, 30 guided missile systems, and 600 helicopters as of 2010. The majority of the tanks are from the 1990s, 2000s, and they do have a small number of Russian tanks from the 70s, but like I said, small. Those smallest tanks are from there's like 30 T-72s, and majority of what they have are, I think, what they call it, the M64 or something, Pan. It was M52 Pan, I forget. See, I'm doing this on the go, because I want to go to bed. So I'm being a cool kid right now. So yeah, blah 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 blah. I know what it is. Should I feel dumb? Yeah, M60 Pan. I knew that too. Yeah, it was M60 Pan. You might say, oh, but the Pan was made in the 1960s. Yeah, it was. But the United States used it until like 97. It was been periodically upgraded, like, continuously. These things are pretty damn fucking good. They're very large tanks, so they're very expandable. They also have Leopard 2s, and they're getting Abrams soon, and they have some homebrew ones, which are very good. They have Chosom armor, whatever it's called, which obviously the T-50s don't have. Let's do this quick. The ROK Navy has 68,000 personnel, 27,000 Republican Guards, Marines. There are about 178 commissioned ships with total display of about 154,000 tons. And our Q includes some 20 destroyers, frigates, and 10 submarines, 100 corvettes, and fast attack crafts of 2010. The Naval Aviation Force consists of about 56 wing, rotary, and wing aircraft. The ROK Marine Corps has about 400 tracked vehicles, including self-propelled artillery. So in addition, they have some more aircraft from the Navy. ROK Navy aims to have a blue water by 2020. So that means they can actually, I'll probably have some carriers and shit, which will be good. The Republic of Korea's Air Force has about 500 combat aircraft to design, a few Russian, European, and indigenous designed aircraft, and these aircraft are majority American F-16 variants, which would obliterate any North Korean aircraft before the North Koreans got even in range. So pretty simply put, if you're trying to argue with me about this, do some research. Somebody did bring up a good point about the novel, but that was it. Most of you guys have found really petty things to talk about, and some of you guys have brought up bullshit that I've already commented on, but I have so many hateful comments that I doubt you ever saw it. Anyways, enjoy your, I guess, blah blah blah.